Alisha. I went from a hobby hairstylist to $1 million salon business. I've made it, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the story we're telling today, right? It's like rewind. So
So it sounds like it was super easy and just A to B.
it was just, I was born with this vision and I've made it here. But yeah, so, when I was preparing for this, I was like, okay, what? He wants my struggle. Like, I got to bring something big, you've had lots of other guests that have like great stories. And I'm like, what? I like work a lot on like my branding and my story, but like my big overall story, like what is that? Mm-hmm. What do I want people to know and share? So I feel like I have a unique approach where I'm like I don't have one specific like struggle, mm-hmm. which is like what? No, like so you've been through something, which I'm like, yes, I've been through a lot, but I feel like I look at it like this is life. So I'm like, we all go through things. Things are hard, things are easy, everything in between. So there's been a lot that I've gone through, but I'm not like, it's my struggle.
Yeah.
So I think that's unique.
So maybe try, which is a great mindset to have. It seems like the people that are really succeeding usually have that kind of mindset, which allows them to keep going and not get stuck. But with this type of conversation, think about someone watching or listening that might be getting stuck, or there might be something where, yeah, I pushed through, or this is why I pushed through, or my faith pushed me through, or I just wanted to be rich, so I just kept whatever, like what is driving you and what is motivating you, and what are some of the challenges, because we all know running a business, there are challenges. It might not seem as big as someone else's, but there will certainly be people listening and watching this that want to do what you do. Yeah. And giving them a realistic picture of, some of the stuff is awesome. And there are also challenges with running it. Whether that be business challenges, whether that be personal challenges, or if you have it all figured out, then just tell us the secret to all that stuff, and then we don't even have to talk about struggling.
I know, that's what we just skipped through. Yeah, so when I'm like, I don't have a big, giant story, I'm like, I have a long journey. So I think what has helped me be successful is the fact that I don't like dwell on the bad things in life, or like I can acknowledge that bad things happen to me, but shifting my mindset has been like the biggest blessing, where I'm like, it's happening like to me, for my own good, the good of like all that I serve and all that I do and my passion. So I think that's one thing that has like really propelled, my success, whatever, we want to define that as. And so I think that is the biggest thing. And when I go deeper into my story of like how I started, there's lots of hiccups and lots of things that have gone wrong, lots of things that have gone great. So I have been in the industry doing hair for well over 15 years. I struggled to find my way when I was younger. I've been very fortunate to have lots of support in my life. And, it's like, okay, you should do this. You should go to college. You should get this degree. You're smart. You're getting straight A's. You should be a doctor. Look into medicine. So I had a lot of guidance and encouragement, which is great. But when it's not, what you want to do, and we were trying to figure out like, what is my calling? What do I like? What do I want to do forever? I think finally when I was a little bit like rebellious and I was like, I'm quitting college and I'm going to go to hair school. It's like, no, you should like get a business degree. You need to have like a backing and all of that. But my parents finally let me do it, had full support. And that is really what started this career for me. So I didn't grow up knowing like I want to be a hairstylist. Like I wasn't a little kid like practicing hair. Like you hear these stories and it's like they just knew from the beginning. It was just like I wanted to rebel and not do community college. Was like the only thing that started that. So that's where I started. I when I say I was a hobby hairstylist, like once I got licensed, I worked multiple locations, couldn't figure it out. I worked literally doing hair in my kitchen for a very long time, working a second job, doing hair in my kitchen, like running a full business before I realized it was like an actual business. Like I would all day on my days off, literally schedule clients and they're rinsing their hair in my kitchen sink. And literally I have some clients today that are still with me that lived through that with me and supported me. So I think I really enjoy that I've kind of like carried these people through my whole journey because it looks a lot different now. So I think that's great. But yeah, doing hair in my kitchen. And then I was like, I've got to figure this out. So I tried different salons. And finally I was like, okay, I'm not like, why am I not loving this? Let me do it myself. I opened my first location. I had a salon for 5 years. It was great. I knew nothing about running a business at all. So there's a ton of struggles in that. I ultimately was like, this is not for me. I'm just going to go do hair, go back to like what I thought was fun. I did that for a couple years. And then I was like, same spot. Like, why am I feeling this way? What I'm doing is not enough. I need something bigger. Like bigger than me, bigger than just doing hair. And then that's how Max and Row was born. So now we've been a salon for 4 years, and we were talking earlier, like literally it, like that one change is what literally just, I was like, this is it for me. This is like what I need to do. And I have grown so much in just 4 years for a lot of reasons. But yeah, just starting Max and Row was really where I was like, okay, like I'm doing it.
So you did drop out of college?
Yes.
Okay. Which, I mean, that's something that, I don't know, it's a topic of conversation. Not everyone needs to go to college. I went to college. The bill for college is very expensive.
Yeah.
But it is not for everyone. And I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stuff where now the different jobs I've done, I've thought, well, didn't need a college degree for that one. Didn't need a college degree for that one. So even when I was talking with Mike, he's been a part of the C-Tech program here in town and home building. And just for, kids that might not feel like college is for them, there's different trades that they can go learn. So yeah, I don't think it's a knock. Like, I know it's like, I dropped out of college, but
yeah. Well, and those weren't options when I was going to college. So I'm really happy. I know a ton, like we have girls at the salon now that come out of high school licensed stylists. So
gotcha.
That just wasn't an option. I'm glad it's an option now, but it took me a little longer to get to where I am. But yeah, ultimately I think that the biggest struggle, if I were to like select something, hands down will always be, and I think it is for most people, is like just their self-doubt, insecurities, self-worth. Like I feel like forever and always, like I am always just working on that aspect and improving myself. And like really that's the only thing that ever held me back before when I look back. And, still to this day can hold me back at times. So I think that ultimately will be my forever struggle.
I think that's most of us.
Yeah.
We've talked about imposter syndrome on here multiple times of, doing something, but not really like seeing yourself as that something. Like for me, podcasting, I never did a podcast, and yet I'm podcasting now and trying to tell myself like, yeah, you're a podcaster now, or you're a salon owner or business owner, and really like believing that yeah, this is what I am. Like I'm doing this, I'm good at this, rather than I'm playing a role, and I'm just a character in this. Really believing in yourself. So you said you had a salon, and then for 4 or 5 years, and then you went back to working for someone.
Yep.
And then you opened Max and Row.
Yes.
So what was, because it seems like Max and Row is working now. What were some of the changes or whatnot that is allowing for this one to work and flourish as opposed to when you had it before?
Yeah, I think ultimately it was like I was saying is I just had so much like comparison, and I was like trying to maybe be what I thought like a salon was supposed to do. I didn't have, I guess, as much confidence to move into these new levels. So I just really focusing on knowing what my purpose is with Max and Row and defining that more clearly. And the proof that, when we say we're here, Max and I, we're here to build confidence in the people that sit in our chair, in the stylists that we have working, is really, that is proof we are doing it. And just that more momentum, and even like here talking about it, the more we vocalize it and share with people, and we're like, yeah, that's what's happening. So I think I gained knowledge. Like I matured,
Yeah.
I had like more life experiences,
Right.
that made it so that Max and Row was going to work out. Like everything else before that got me to Max and Row.
When you talk about purpose of Max and Row, like what are some of those things? Like if you're, here's what we stand for, or here's what we're trying to accomplish. Like, I don't know, when I think about salons, and I'll throw myself in with insurance, there's like, you could throw a rock and hit an insurance agent on every corner. And we spoke kind of out there, like how I'm trying to make River City be different than the next one. But what is, how do you differentiate Max and Row from another salon?
Yep. Yeah. So overall confidence, like we want to make people feel good. But as I have grown my side of the business within Max and Row, I position myself to now, like I'm giving more value. I'm giving, giving, giving. I want to build up other people because I am in a place where I have the confidence to do that. I am, I think everyone has something to give. And so I encourage my stylists to feel that way, to make that, belief part of them. So really it's support is like, ultimately, I'm like, I am here to give. I'm here to build other people up. And I think, even our clients see that. They like our energy. They like their experience. It's positive. Like when I'm like, I want to get rid of every stereotype that has ever been said about a salon, was my ultimate mission, because it's like females and catty, like we can all throw out everything we thought and heard. So the more that I can share how we're doing it differently, I am like happy to do so.
So you're saying build up and support. Like, what does that look like? What are those actual things that within the business that you're doing?
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. So within Max and Row, so for as far as stylists, now we have kind of a joint model. So we have independent artists, which they're technically running their own business within Max and Row, and now we have actual employees, and we have assistants that are licensed, training. So there's lots of education, lots of mentorship within our salon.
Mm-hmm. Do you want or see yourself growing, or like are you wanting to get huge, or do you want to stay, like, for example, me and Olga, we actually don't want to get huge.
Yeah.
That's like part of our business model is like, we're not looking to open up other locations, which typically businesses want to get bigger and grow. But like for you, like, do you like having the one location, or are you wanting to eventually open other ones or franchise or whatnot?
Yeah, so I have, of course, very big, giant, dreamy goals, and I always want to, deliver my best and serve as many people as I can. So whatever that looks like, I am very open to what that journey is. That at the beginning of the year, I made major shifts in my business and everything that I wanted to do, and my ultimate goal is to serve hundreds of stylists. So whatever avenue that looks like, I am here for that.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges in your guys' industry? Like some of the stuff that maybe I don't know, I wouldn't think of like for example, I had someone on here that owns a pizza shop, and he said the biggest challenge that he currently is having is getting mayonnaise. And that's not something I would have ever thought
Yeah.
in his space. But like, I don't know what, I don't do salon stuff. So I don't like, we can't get this product, or maybe workers, or dealing with, you do have independent contractors. And now it sounds like employees. I don't know. What are some of those?
Yeah, I feel like everyone has that struggle with getting supplies. You know, it was like we couldn't find gloves and the things we need, but we made do. Everything's good. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like I try not to look at things in a negative way. I'm like, if things are happening, they're happening for me. So if can't find gloves, maybe it's not necessary to use gloves anymore. Like maybe we can think of a different way. So, I mean, I know we all had, you know, in 2020 had to make major shifts, and I find it to be such a blessing. It changed my business for the better. So I think anytime I can reevaluate something and not make it a negative, make it into a positive, I am definitely trying to move forward that way and make changes I didn't need to know needed to happen.
Yeah. So what finally pushed you? You had your own place, then you worked for someone. What was it that finally pushed you to open? And what does Max and Row stand for, actually, now that I think about it?
Yeah. Yeah. So Max and Row are kind of my two kids' names. I have a third now, but when I started Max and Row, I had two. So there, it's after my kids.
Okay.
Yep.
I have wondered like where that came from.
Yep.
But the first part of that question was, what really pushed you to try again with having your own salon?
Yeah. So I don't think I was ready, but I had, like I was saying, the support in place where like my husband just pushed me further. He's like, obviously, like we did a massive remodel. We literally had to gut a space, and it's a huge investment, right? Like we were not ready, but support. My husband's like, weird. Like if this is what you want, this is the time. So when I didn't believe in myself, I had someone to just like push me further, and kind of like jump off that cliff. So, that was ultimately what started it. And, but the business looks completely different than when we started. And I hope that it looks completely different in a year and 2 years and forevermore. So,
do you think you would have not tried it if he was not pushing you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he pushed me.
I know that sounds like a bad term.
Yeah.
If he was not encouraging you,
so lovingly encouraging me. Yeah, I like the person I was then. No, if it was just up to me, I would have like made a million excuses, made a million reasons. So when I say like I do so much like personal work to get to where I'm going, the person I am now, I would be like, that was so stupid. Like, why did I not just do it? Like, why did I waste time? So, I try not to live in like the past and those past decisions, but thankful that I had someone to guide me when I couldn't guide myself.
The personal work, what does that look like? Are you willing to share that?
Yeah, I am so passionate about this because I feel like, this is something that every person has control of, like taking ownership and finding access. And anytime I, have moments of self-doubt or I feel uneducated about something, I'm like, I have resources. I can figure out like why I'm feeling this way or how to like shift my mindset or just be a better leader or like whatever it takes. It's like, it's up to me to do the work. So.
And like in practice, what does that look like? Like when those things come up, like what I'm trying to get at is for people watching, listening, whatever, and you say self-work, what is that? Because there's people that know of Max and Row and are probably thinking like, I mean, I personally think it looks really cool. Like as far as salons go, I like the vibe. It's like, I think it's a cool vibe. Like if I had a hair salon, I would kind of want that same vibe. So I'm sure there's people that are watching you and whatnot, but like practically speaking, what does that self-work look like? Like when this happens, I do this.
Yeah. So I definitely just getting educated. So finding like books and finding like, what are my beliefs? Like, what do I think, and establishing that. And I think the biggest benefit to me has been finding my own personal mentorship, and not doing the business, not doing life by myself. So I felt like I should know like if I'm an entrepreneur and I have a business, I should know everything. And that's where I felt like my ego got in the way of my first salon because I wouldn't allow myself to ask for help. Mm-hmm. So now getting educated on like where I need help and where I need to improve, and then having a person that I look up to that's farther along than me, someone that I can talk to that is not my husband, my family, my friends, coworkers, that is like just disconnected from all the emotions around everything. And just someone to chat with definitely helps.
Is that person in the industry or they're just a mentor?
Yeah, I have different mentors. Like depending on what I need help around, like do I need help around, like business, very like hair specific, or marketing or business or whatever that is, but definitely working on my mindset and like shifting, limiting beliefs and just being able to like absorb it, own my feelings, and then move forward has been the biggest change for me.
Why do you think you felt like you needed to know everything?
Because I was comparing myself.
Yeah.
So simple. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why when I'm talking about supporting other stylists, I'm like, I'm supporting you, and I'm your mentor because I've gone through that. So all I do is speak from my personal experience when I'm mentoring people that come into my world, and sharing my lessons.
When you say comparing yourself to other salons?
Yeah. I mean, anyone I know, anyone that had a business, anyone that was a salon owner, any
business owner or just salon business owners?
I mean, I think both, but yeah, definitely in your industry, if you're worried about what someone else is doing, that's like clouding any like creative vision I had for myself or what I thought I wanted to do. Like just because you see someone doing something doesn't mean they're doing it right.
Yeah. Well, and you have no idea behind the curtains. I mean, that's part of all of this of you have no idea what's really going on, or they might be thinking the same thing. I don't know what I'm doing. And
right.
yet you think they know what they're doing. Looking like... Or I was watching, do you know who Gary Vee is? Yeah. I feel like everyone knows who Gary Vee is at this point.
Yeah.
I was watching one of his things last night, and he was some talk he was given, but he was just saying how, in the social media space, everyone's got a voice now and a camera and whatever, but he was just talking about being yourself. People will know if you're trying to force it or be something you're not. And just it sounds so simple. But in practicality, it's not. Because even like this podcast, like I look at other podcasts and then I think, well, should I kind of be like that or should I kind of be like that? And then hearing someone like Gary, who's got all this success and all this kind of stuff, like, no, just do your thing and then make that work, your thing. And like we talked out earlier, I certainly have compared myself too. And that slowed me down so much. It killed creativity. I can so relate with that.
Yep.
So like with this, yes, I watch other ones, but at the end of the day, I'm still like, I'm going to do Trav. Yep. I'm just going to be me, talk the way I talk. And then if it's liked or people watch, well then so be it. And then I'll just keep being me. So I certainly relate to looking around, comparing, and how that has just made me stagnant in my ventures. But man, what a feeling when you start to break out of that. and you start to realize it wasn't as scary. It really wasn't as difficult to just be yourself as you thought it might be. People like yourself. They like you when you're just you.
Yeah.
So I imagine these past few years with Max and Ro, you're experiencing all that and realizing you is good enough.
So much easier. Like I have just realized it can be like so much easier than we make it out to be. So I just, we have like this big overall goal, and I can get there really quick or I can get there really slow. Like I can't mess it up. I can't do it wrong. I have definitely made a lot more mistakes in this last year because I made the commitment that I was going to mess up. I was like, I'm going to go hard and fast, and I'm going to lead with my heart, and I'm going to do it with the best intentions. And I know I can say I'm sorry. Like if I mess up with the girls, I'm like, hey, I did that. Like, I'm sorry. Like I think it's like if you have good intentions, people are more understanding, right? Like not everyone knows this, but the people that are, drawn to me, drawn to my salon, work with me, they get to see more of that. So I think even just like this sharing makes a big difference. But
So some of those mistakes, what will you share some of those? Or, I mean, you don't have to go into details. I mean, you talked a little bit about with the girls, but the decision to go hard and fast and no, probably going to make some mistakes here. Why did you decide to do that? What were some of those things?
yeah.
Would you do it? Like, would you go back and go, okay, I'm not going to go hard and fast? Or, you know what? Yeah, I learned some stuff. I'm glad I decided to do that.
Yeah, I think it's the best decision I made because I was literally trying to control and make everything perfect up until last year. Like I was like, it has to be this way before I can do this, which it's never perfect. It's never going to be. I'm not a perfect person. I'm going to make mistakes. Everyone is. And so I was slowing myself down and internalizing and questioning and all that self-doubt. So now I know what I want. I can make quick decisions, and I'm allowed to change my mind. Like I can like look at anything I say here today and be like, that's where I was in that moment. And if it's different in 6 months, if it's different in 5 years, I have different beliefs. That's okay. That's good because I've grown. So that's kind of why I was like asking you. I was like, why aren't you sharing where you're at now?
Well, because I'm like you.
The old me.
or the old you. Yeah, and I would say the same thing with what this is. This is very against my nature. So starting this podcast has been very against my nature because normally I want to control everything, think through everything. A lot of times it like paralyzes me where I don't actually even attempt it and I have insurance brain. So I'm constantly thinking about risk. Like when, as an insurance guy, you're a risk advisor. So you're thinking about all the bad stuff. So where can someone slip and fall and where's the liability going to come from? So I'm kind of wired to figure out all the negatives anyways, like what bad things can happen. So with this, I had to move past overthinking everything.
Yeah.
And just go try it. Just go try it. I don't know what the reception is going to be like. I haven't had a microphone in my face or lights and cameras and headphones. Just start doing it. Like when we first started messaging and it was like, well, what's the podcast? And I told you like early on, I was like, I don't really know. I just know I'm going to have some conversations with the business owners, and now it's turning into not just business owners. But that was part of like, I was like, I'm just going to go do it. And I don't really know. And the people that have been on have kind of made it what it is. Like they kind of showed me what it is.
Right.
And the conversation. And not everyone's the same. Like some people have some crazy, like Jason Conrad, who has the basketball team here in town. If you listen to his story, I told him, I was like, bro, I don't know if anyone will ever top what you just said. Like the stuff that he has been through, holy smokes. And I realize not everyone has some of those crazy things. But like I said earlier, there's still been struggles, and I'm seeing with you, like you, you like to stay very positive and not really go into that space, like because the way you view it is, well, I learned from it, and it's still a positive thing. But I know that you still had struggles and hurdles, and it wasn't just a straight line. And I mean, the confidence thing, you had your own business, and then you didn't.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a big part of it was maybe some business know-how, like you hadn't had a business before. But I would guess that maybe more of it was the confidence in doing it and just doing it,
Yeah.
running it. But yeah, you and I are similar in that way of like you saying, well, I'm just going to go hard and fast. That's not our nature. Our nature is to overanalyze everything, control everything. And what I'm learning about myself is to try to do that. Just go hard, because by nature, I'm going to analyze everything anyways. I'm going to try to control things anyways, but just try to go fast anyways and just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I spent a lot of my life protecting myself. Like, I don't even know, like it's human nature. Like, we all want to be safe and protected. And I feel like, I maybe just was a little more extreme. Like, I would not allow myself to fail. And now I know that there's positives in failing, and it's just growth and evolution. And so I do not protect myself as much, and I'm still working on that. But like, I hope, if we chatted in a year, I could be like, so much crap happened for the best, but so much crap happened. Like, I let bad things happen to me for my own good. Mm-hmm. So I could learn.
Yeah. What else do you want people to know?
I mean, obviously that, if you're looking to be a stylist, grow your business, feel supported, Max knows for you. Yeah. But yeah, just the work, like we were talking, like I have a career that is very like looks one way from the outside, but the work we're doing in the salon and the growth that these girls are going through and, experiencing life. And there's been a lot of girls with big milestones that have happened, and like finding your people is like your people, your life, your journey. Like, that is the work. Mm-hmm. Is like finding and fighting for what you want is like ultimately like what we're all here to do, and find purpose. And so if it looks like that is going to be your vehicle, is doing hair, that's what I'm here for. But ultimately, like for me, it's like I'm just growing and learning, and that is my ultimate goal, right?
I was just thinking about like a hoodie or a t-shirt slogan. That's what I'm here for.
Hair for, like a little play on words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that if you start making hoodies or t-shirts from that.
I'll give you a little cut.
Are you taking on new clients or no?
Always, yeah.
You're always taking on new clients. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my wife goes to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
And my daughter went to you guys her first time, and my mom goes to you guys.
Mom too.
Yeah, did you know that?
No.
Morgan is doing my mom's hair.
Love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Hope it wasn't too scary.
Nope, not at all.
All right. Anything? Any last parting words?
No, appreciate the opportunity, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.